Welcome, everyone. Today, we're diving into two powerful chapters in the book of Joshua. These chapters are packed with lessons on faithfulness, the importance of unity, and the incredible power of trusting in God's promises. It's a story of farewells, potential conflict, and a final passionate call to commitment. Let's begin our journey together into Joshua chapters 22 and 23. After years of war and conquest, the land promised to Israel has finally been subdued. The time has come for the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh to return home. These tribes had been granted land on the east side of the Jordan River, but they faithfully crossed over with their brothers to help conquer the territory on the west. Joshua gathers them, his heart filled with gratitude for their service. He commends them for their obedience and loyalty, reminding them of the promise they kept. He blesses them and sends them on their way with a crucial instruction: to love the Lord their God, to walk in all his ways, to keep his commandments, to hold fast to him, and to serve him with all their heart and soul. They had fulfilled their military duty. Now, their spiritual duty was to remain. The tribes, enriched with the spoils of war, agree and begin their journey back to their inheritance, their hearts set on serving the Lord. As the eastern tribes cross the Jordan River and arrive in their own territory, they do something unexpected. Right there, at the border, they build a massive, conspicuous altar. From a distance, this structure looks imposing, and news of it spreads like wildfire among the tribes on the western side of the river. Immediately, there's a sense of alarm. An altar? The law of Moses was clear. There was only one place for sacrifice: the tabernacle. Building another altar could be seen as an act of rebellion, a schism, a turn toward idolatry. The other Israelites are deeply concerned. They remember the sin of Achan and how the entire nation suffered for the transgression of one family. Fearing God's judgment, the western tribes gather their army, ready to go to war against their own brothers, to stamp out this perceived apostasy before it can bring disaster upon all of Israel. Before launching an attack, the leaders of the western tribes, led by Phinehas the priest, cross the Jordan to confront the eastern tribes. Their message is stern and direct. They remind their brothers of past sins, like the idolatry at Peor, and how the consequences were felt by everyone. They ask, "Why have you built this altar? Are you turning away from the Lord today? If you rebel, God's anger will fall on the entire community of Israel." It's a tense moment, a potential civil war brewing over a misunderstanding. But the eastern tribes are quick to explain their true intentions. They call upon God as their witness, insisting their motives are pure. They explain, "This altar is not for burnt offerings or sacrifices. We have no intention of forsaking the central sanctuary." They knew that being separated by the Jordan River could, over generations, lead to a spiritual divide. Their children might one day be told, "You have no part in the Lord, the God of Israel." This altar was not an act of division, but a desperate plea for unity. It was to be a witness, a permanent, visible reminder for all future generations that the tribes on the east side of the river were also part of God's covenant people, serving the same Lord. Hearing this heartfelt explanation, Phinehas and the leaders from the western tribes are relieved. The tension melts away, replaced by understanding and reconciliation. Phinehas praises God, saying, "Today we know that the Lord is among us, because you have not committed this breach of faith against the Lord. Now you have delivered the people of Israel from the hand of the Lord." The crisis was averted not by swords, but by communication and a shared desire for faithfulness. They understood that the altar, which they named Witness, stood as a testament to their shared identity in God. This event became a powerful lesson in the importance of seeking understanding before jumping to conclusions, and the necessity of preserving unity within the body of God as people. They returned home, not as adversaries, but as brothers, their bond strengthened by this test. Years pass. The land is at peace, and Joshua is now an old man. He knows his time on earth is coming to an end. He gathers all of Israel, its elders, leaders, judges, and officers for one final powerful address. He begins by reminding them of God's faithfulness. He recounts how God fought for them, driving out the nations before them and giving them a land they did not labor for, cities they did not build, and vineyards they did not plant. Every good promise the Lord had made to them had been fulfilled. Not one had failed. Joshua's message is clear. Look back and remember what God has done. But this reflection on the past serves as a foundation for a challenge for the future. He urges them to be very strong, to be careful to obey everything written in the law of Moses, without turning aside to the right or to the left. He warns them sternly against mingling with the surrounding nations that still remained, adopting their customs, or serving their gods. He reminds them that their continued success and possession of the land is conditional upon their faithfulness to the covenant. Joshua's voice rises with passion as he delivers his ultimate challenge. He lays out the choice before them in the clearest possible terms. He knows the temptation to compromise, to slowly drift into the idolatrous practices of their neighbors. So he draws a line in the sand. He says, "Now fear the Lord and serve him with all faithfulness. Throw away the gods your ancestors worshipped beyond the Euphrates River and in Egypt, and serve the Lord. But if serving the Lord seems undesirable to you, then choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve." It's a moment of decision, not just for the nation, but for every individual, every family. He doesn't just issue the challenge. He makes his own stance public and resolute. With conviction that has echoed through millennia, Joshua declares, "But as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord." This declaration electrifies the people. Stirred by their aged leaders' unwavering faith, they respond in unison. "Far be it from us to forsake the Lord to serve other gods. We too will serve the Lord, because he is our God." Joshua presses them one last time, reminding them that serving God is a serious commitment. The Lord is a holy God. He is a jealous God who will not forgive rebellion and sin lightly. He wants to ensure their commitment is not just a fleeting emotional response. If they turn away after promising to be faithful, the very God who blessed them would turn and bring disaster upon them. But the people are steadfast. They reaffirm their vow. "No, we will serve the Lord." They declare themselves witnesses against their own words, should they ever break their promise. With this solemn covenant renewed, Joshua sends the people away, each to their own inheritance. His work is done. He has led the people into the land, and now he leaves them with a final enduring legacy. A call to remember God's goodness, to remain steadfast in obedience, and to make a daily conscious choice to serve him wholeheartedly. The lessons from Joshua's farewell are as relevant for us today as they were for the Israelites thousands of years ago. Faithfulness is a choice we make every day. It requires us to intentionally remember what God has done for us, to cherish his word, and to guard our hearts against the influences of the world that would pull us away from him. Unity in faith requires open communication and assuming the best in our brothers and sisters. And just like Joshua, we must decide where our allegiance lies. His challenge rings out to each one of us. Choose today whom you will serve. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content exploring the timeless truths of the Bible.